In this video, I'm going to walk through how I create a custom GPT or a custom gem. I'm using Google Gemini because that's the one I think most of you are going to be using. But I will end this by showing you what I also do with ChatGPT. It's the same thing, but I'll also show that to you. So what I start with is I don't think of the gem first. I think of the activity that I need to be doing. So as an example, what I'm going to do is try and create a gem to design 1 hour workshops for me because I do those quite often. And I've never really thought about automating that process. And so this is a good excuse for me to do that. So what I'm going to do is take one specific instance, work through that, and then after that, use those instructions to create the gem itself. So let's start. I will be conducting a 60-minute workshop for nursing school faculty on AI in curriculum development. I want you to give me an outline for the session. I will also want a complete session description. Now notice I'm not spending too much time thinking about this instruction itself. Remember from the previous weeks, we're talking about starting very broadly and then having a conversation to refine where we want to go, right? Okay, so this is a timely and vital topic. One thing I'll probably add the next time is don't pander, because I really don't like this. I need it to be pushing me, right? So that's something in my mind now. So workshop title, it's given me a workshop title and the session description, which is good. Now I'm not looking, okay, let's session workshop title, digital preceptor, integrating AI into nursing curriculum. I generally don't like this two-part title nowadays because that really screams AI generated. They're good, but and maybe I want 3 options to choose from. So something else to keep in mind. Session description reshapes. This 60-minute interactive workshop is designed for this. They'll move beyond. Okay, so it's given me a description, which is fine. And then it gives me the outline and it's broken it up into the different minutes that it wants. That's fine as well. So Q&A and resource toolkit. I like this idea of a resource toolkit. Creating case studies, moving from, okay. And then key takeaways for faculty, cheat sheet of nursing focused prompts. Okay, so I like that as well. So now I'm going to kind of be playing 2 roles, right? Yes, I'm designing this one workshop. I'm also keeping in mind that I want this to be a repeatable gem. So I want you to give me 3 title options and don't use the 2-part title format. Then what okay, I don't want you to use a sycophantic tone. I need you to be critical and push me to creative and different ways of thinking. I should not have pressed enter, but okay, let's see what happens. redesigning the human element, automating the nursing syllabus, code switching the clinical mindset. I actually hate all three. The first one actually seems to work better, maybe integrating AI into curriculum and pedagogy. Okay. But it has given me 3 titles, so that's good. Rethinking my approach, since I've said it, I wanted it to be different. Stop focusing on detection. So the creative shift is push them to design assessments that require the human gap. So it is giving me something different. The danger of average care. Yep, AI models are trained on the average. Don't just show them how to make a case study, show them how to use to deliberately introduce bias or errors. Ghostwriting. So obviously it's giving me a different shift now, making it more creative. And then it's revising the whole strategy for me. Okay, that looks kind of nice. The other thing that I did want to look at when I looked at the first one is I needed it to give me session objectives, which is not here at this point. And I also wanted it to include potentially some points of interaction. So I need the session objectives no more than 5, ideally 3 to 5. Shift enter. The objectives should be based on Bloom's taxonomy, preferably higher order thinking. Shift enter. Include some points of micro engagement. Okay, so now we're going to synthesis, evaluation, and creation. So deconstruct current assessment models to identify vulnerable logic, synthesize patient data, critique care plans, re-engineer a clinical assignment into a human-in-the-loop workflow, micro engagement points, hallucination hunt, prompt war, bias audit, red pen. So, okay, and it's given me when these things can happen. Now, obviously, when I'm looking at these, right, I've got a 60-minute session and break the room into 2 halves. Half A writes a lazy prompt, half B writes a context-heavy prompt, display the results. Now, just this activity can take easily 10 minutes, just breaking them into 2 groups, having them work on something 5 to 7 minutes at least, which takes up a huge chunk of my workshop time. So something to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm going to say, keeping time in mind, the 4 micro engagements will be too much. Let's bring it down to just 1 high impact activity for no more than 10 minutes, and then we'll have the end QA. So now it's giving me a whole 10-minute setup of what the activity can look like. I like the session flow that it's giving me now as well. Okay, revised session description based on all the changes that we've made. Like me to provide the lethal audit scenario and specific hidden errors, which I could ask for if I wanted, right? So this kind of gets to what I broadly want. So I'm probably going to say at this point, take all that we've discussed so far and give me the complete session. Okay, it's given me the titles, the session description, workshop objectives, 60-minute session flow, okay, and the high impact activity, suggested resources for handouts. Okay, like all of that. Now this time segment thing is nice, it's good, I like where it's at. So now the next thing I want is, for the session, give me the complete facilitator transcript. So I want a verbatim breakdown of what I'll do. And voila, I now have the verbatim transcript. Okay. All right, so pretty much I have what I need. Of course, this will require tweaking to come to what I really want. I might actually just stop it at this point and then take it out of Gemini and just work on the revisions myself, which is generally where I would go after this point. But now that I have the flow for the workshop itself, what I'm going to say is, I want to make this workshop generation a gem that I can reuse. Give me the instructions to create the gem. System instructions. So the system instructions are the primary instructions for the gem itself. So it's giving me now the system instructions, and this is the interesting part, right? You notice that it actually gives a role and persona, which I had not given during my discussion, during my interaction right now, but that's an addition that Gemini is making. So you're a provocative, intellectually rigorous consultant specializing in nursing education. You reject the AI as a tool fluff, focus on human in the loop necessity. Tone is professional, core philosophy, and your task guidelines. Now remember, these are instructions it's giving you. You can always edit this as well. And then suggested starter prompts. Now I'll explain these as we go along. And tips for finalizing the gem. Okay, so this is a start. It's given me and then the task guidelines. So workshop design, when asked to design a session, use the friction model, comparing standard and critical pivots, objectives, micro engagement, 1 high impact because I finalized on 1, use tables for clarity. Okay, and it doesn't include the resource sheet that I wanted, right? So that's something that I'm going to have to add in. So I'm going to add that in. I need a resource handout generated for each session. I also want the GPT to ask me for my audience and the workshop title and customize based on that. Now, don't worry if it gives you things like Markdown. It's the same instructions, but it gives it to it in a more a text-heavy way. Then you've got the resource handout. Part 2, instructor's key. Okay, I like the instructor key. All right. Okay, so when it comes to this piece, let's see what we can do moving forward.